Hi, this is Jamey from Stonemeyer Games. I'm here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism in another game that I played for the first time at Geekway to the West almost a month ago now. This game is called Argent the Consortium. Argent is a worker placement game by Level 99 Games, and it was introduced to me by a friend and blogger, Joe Babbitt, who writes for a website called Pretty Sneaky Sis. He writes a review website about board games. And Joe had raved about this game, Argent, and he had been telling me for a while that he wanted to teach it to me. So I took him up on that offer at Geekway, and we played I believe it was a 5-player game, maybe 6, but I think it was 5. And we had a lot of fun. It was late at night. The game took a little long, but it was the first game, and we had a good time with it. Argent has a lot of things going on. Basically, you are I think you're an apprentice in a wizardry school, kind of like Harry Potter at Hogwarts, and there are a bunch of deans at the school, and you're trying to become, I think, the next dean, or maybe you're the next head student or something. You're trying to elevate your status in the school. But what you don't know is who's on the selection committee. And there are all these deans that are going to be a part of that selection process, but you don't know which ones are going to be making the final selection. Or at least at the beginning of the game, you don't know. You start off by knowing like one of them. Like every player knows one dean. And then throughout the game, you can take actions to gather resources or learn spells or increase your skills or equipment, things like that. Or some of the actions also let you look at the hidden dean. So there are all these face-down dean cards. I think there's like 12 of them, and you can pick one that you haven't looked at and look at it, and then you put a token on it to show that you looked at it. And if you forget, you can go back to that card and look at it again since your token is there. And this led to some really interesting interactions. I would say as a whole, I kind of thought the game was okay. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of icons. The art and icons are really busy, and there's a lot to follow. And we kind of just launched right into it with a pretty good understanding of the rules. But it's one of those games that you can kind of just jump into if you have someone who's able to guide you a little bit. There's a lot going on. But my favorite part, and this is why I'm talking about the game and all these deans that I've been talking about, is the ongoing mystery of which deans are going to evaluate you at the end of the game to determine who's the winner. And the deans have things like whoever has the most, I don't remember what any of the tokens are called at this point, but like whoever has the most gems at the end of the game gets 3 points or 5 points or whatever it is. And maybe second most gets something and everybody else gets nothing. Or it might say at the end of the game, for every money you have, for every 3 coins you have, you'll get 1 point. And so what this does during the game is that you're constantly looking at all the other players to see what are they going after, like what are they accumulating. And you start, well, at least I did. I saw a few players, like I saw one player accumulating gems, and I knew that he saw a certain dean card. So rather than use my turn to look at that dean card, which would have been smarter, but rather than look at that dean card, I used a turn to look at a different dean card, and on that same action, it also let me get some of the gems that player was getting, because I thought, okay, if he's going after gems, I'll go after gems too, and he won't see it coming, because he thinks that he has this knowledge that that I don't have, because he doesn't see my token on the dean card. I thought I was being really clever, but it was fun to kind of keep an eye on that as the game progressed. Like I said, the game lasted like 3 hours. And it was okay. But the final 10 minutes, or really maybe the final 5 minutes, were so much fun, which is great. I mean, this is kind of an important thing, that a game ends well, that it ends in a strong way. Because at the very end of the game, after you finish playing it, that's when you reveal the deans and you do the scoring. And you see what was actually out there. And there were some deans that no one had even looked at. And so you kind of luck into certain categories, and that's fine, because you had opportunities during the game to look at those deans. You just chose not to. And so you reveal these deans one by one, and it's this awesome moment as all the players are. This is suspenseful to see who's going to get what from those cards. And then you start hitting the dean cards that a few people looked at and that they were going at after, and sometimes they were able to achieve those goals, and other times they weren't really able to. Maybe some other player had unknowingly caught up with them during the game. And so, like, every dean, there's this moment of suspense when every dean was revealed, and it really I think it came down to the last dean. I think there was a tie. I think maybe I lost or won on the tiebreaker. It was pretty close. I think I lost. But it didn't matter. Now, the thing is, as I've said like twice now, I thought the rest of the game was just okay. There was almost too much going on, and the game tried almost too hard to create a ton of variation. Games you don't need a million different configurations for a game to work. You need like 10 good configurations. And there's almost too much going on. But that ending remedied the whole thing. And I almost wish, with that mechanism of the reveal of scoring categories at the end, I almost wish the game would be pared down much closer to that. And I wonder if there's a game out there that already does that has a hidden scoring mechanism at the end where you're revealing the scoring categories. And during the game, you had the opportunity to look at them. And during the game, you're also looking at what other players are gathering. I mean, maybe you need a more complex game to make that work. But I think that one mechanism was by far the most interesting thing about the game. And I'd love to see a game that just focused on that mechanism. Anyway, I really enjoyed that mechanism. I don't think it would work in every game, but I think it works in this game, and I'd like to see it in some other games. So if you have any suggestions of games that do this, that have open hidden scoring at the end, it's like, because it's not like Lords of Waterdeep where you have your own hidden goal. Everyone has access to that goal. I'd love to hear your comments and ideas. Thanks.